The next thing I want to talk about is sort of trying to calm down people on the right who are sort of freaking out about the Trump administration. I see people thinking, oh, it's over. The Trump administration is over. Everything's bad. We got no chance of winning the presidency in 28. The midterms in 26 are going to be a disaster. Everything sucks. The world is just being destroyed. The sky is falling. Oh, blah, 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 blah. It's like, calm down, everyone. It's not as bad as it looks. And I want to point out something about Trump's approval rating, which is not good right now. His approval rating has continually to steady decline. And, that's not great, but it should be noted that if you look at this day in history, during Obama's second term and Bush's second term, the first year and their two second terms, which Trump is in, Obama was at 40.8% approval, Bush was at 38.7% approval, and Trump right now, according to Real Clear Politics, is at 42.5% approval. So right now, Trump's approval rating in the first year of his second term, in November, is higher than Bush's and Obama's was at this same point in their second term. And that's important to note because it just shows that Trump is on a trajectory which you would expect for a president in his second term. Now, those numbers I read off are not good numbers. You want to be, just because we've had bad prior presidents, which Obama and Bush, they were both bad presidents. I don't, if you're a Republican and you still like Bush, I don't know what to tell you. So I'm not trying to necessarily defend the numbers per se. I just want to put them in perspective that Trump is not like historically unpopular for a second term president. He's actually pretty much what you would expect at this point in his presidency in his second term. And he is a second term president. I know his terms are non-consecutive, but this is he's term limited. This is his second term. Now again, both the Democrats and Republicans got wiped out in the 2006 midterms and the 2014 midterms. So I'm not bringing this up to say that Republicans aren't going to do poorly in next year's midterms. I think they will. Unless Trump does, look, he is going to have to get his approval rating up to at least 45% for Republicans to be competitive in the midterms. Just based off nothing other than the fact that Republicans, their voting coalition, are less likely to vote. They're lower propensity voters. You're going to have to really motivate these people to get out. And if they're not satisfied with the Trump administration, some of them may vote for Democrats, but most likely they're just not going to vote. And that's enough to really fuck Republicans in the House and can make some Senate races more competitive than you would expect. But again, I just want to note that Trump is not that historically unpopular. He's actually a little bit more popular than you would expect for second-term presidents. Now again, this is a little bit of a warning sign. I'll look at it glass half empty. Is, again, Obama and Bush, they were not good presidents. They just weren't. Bush, obviously, the ridiculous wars, the economy collapsed. Obama, he continued a lot of those wars. He bailed out Wall Street himself. People don't like to talk about that, but he bailed out a lot of these big banks and companies. Obama, Obama did Spygate basically against Trump. Both of these people were terrible presidents. We didn't have any real wage growth under either of these two presidents. Obama particularly. Obama ran as a populist like Trump, but he didn't deliver on anything. He was a fake populist. He was he was a liar. He pretended like he was going to fight for the little guy, and he didn't. He fought for the Wall Street. The Democrat Party became the party of Wall Street under Obama. People don't like to talk about that, but it's true. So, Trump is not historically unpopular, but he is not popular right now. That is also true. And I've laid out some of the steps he can take in my podcast back, I think, on Wednesday. And again, I'll just go over it very briefly. Deregulate, end wars completely, including the Russia-Ukraine war, which may be coming to end, as I talked about. Stop saying that we're living in the golden age. We're not living in the golden age. Stop doing the bidding of Israel and fire Susie Wiles and Marco Rubio, for that matter. If you do those 5-6 things, Trump's approval rating will go up. No question about it. But he's got to do those things. So, while his approval rating is not particularly good right now, it's also sort of what you would expect for a second-term president. And remember, Obama finished his second term very popular. He was in the mid-50s. And Hillary Clinton did win the popular vote, even though she lost the presidency. She did win the popular vote, so that can transition. So that's we should note that. Just because Trump is now Bush did not. Bush never recovered. His approval rating basically kept going down and down and down and down and down until the very end, which is why Obama won in 2008 in a massive landslide. So Trump could go either two directions. He could either recover his approval rating, or it could do the Bush slide. We'll have to see. Look, he's the president. We should stop making excuses for him. Be like, oh, this is happening. He's just hiring bad people. The people are undermining him. He's the boss. The whole point of the whole theory behind the case of a second Trump term was that Trump would be hiring the good people now because he had 4 years of experience. So that excuse doesn't fly anymore. The changes Trump needs to make to fix his administration are all within his control. Let's see if he takes the opportunity, and he'll have the opportunity coming into next year. All right, let's get to the next topic.